of the knife sharpening service, The Knife Guy in Reno. So I had 2 customers bring me a couple of different blades to sharpen. One customer brought me a whole set of Henckles, including 1 pair of scissors, and I'll show you how to do that on the 1x30. And then some other customer brought me 3 Shuns and 2 pruners, and then I'll show you how I clean up the pruners, and then how I sharpen them. So a little bit different process, different machine, but you can still do it on that, but I'll show you on my Ken Onion how I sharpen them. All right, so I'm going to sharpen the Shuns and pruners second. Let's get them out of the way. And there is 1 serrated knife, and I'll show you how I sharpen that. It's a little different than the normal edge leading sharpening. Perfect. I also have my dog with me, Shaggy. He likes to help watch. He is my little assistant. All right, so first things first. Where is it? Okay. So I have my gloves here for a little PPE. I have my apron. This also protects me from any metal shavings or debris coming at me. And then I had a friend make me my own leather patch. Now let's see if I can do this without knocking the camera off. Perfect. All right, let's try and get a clean workstation here, and then we'll start sharpening. Whoops, camera fell a little bit, there we go. So I have a magnet underneath this since I do edge leading, and all the metal shavings come towards me, and I catch it on the paper towel, and I'll put it in my metal trash can. All right. So I always start sharpening with 120 grit Kubatron belt. And I have green frog tape since I do rest the knife on the angle guide. I don't want metal on metal. All right. So here's the whole set of Henckle knives, and I just ordered a twice as sharp scissor sharpener, but you can also sharpen these on this as well. So I'll show you how I do that. I have my digital angle guide. So I want to make sure I'm sharpening this at Henckles. I usually sharpen them around 17 on the angle. So this was set at 20, so let's lower it a little bit. Perfect. I used to worry about when it was getting around 17.1, 17.2, and if I was off by 0.1 of an angle. This is at 16.9, just for my little OCD. Let's make sure it's at 17, but it really shouldn't matter too much when you sharpen. Moving that 0.1 is not going to do anything. Perfect. All right, 17.1, 17.2. I like it. Tighten the bottom one up. So if you guys have any questions, I am going to be wearing my respirator, and it's a full face one, so you always have to have proper PPE when you sharpen knives, because the metal shavings do fly off in a lot of places, and you definitely don't want to inhale it. So if you have any questions, I'll stop and I'll answer them. So 120 grit Cubitron belt, sharpen at 17 degrees. Let's get sharpening.
Hey, Gabba, what's up, buddy?
Gabo, what's up, buddy? How are you? And I'm sorry, is it Gabo or Gabo? I keep forgetting, and I apologize. So, just sharpen these up. This is a serrated knife, and I sharpen that on a 600 grit belt, and then that's what I'll do the same for these guys as well. So, all right. Hey, sorry about that. lost Wi-Fi connection, so I'm going on 5G right now. So I apologize. Sweet. Okay. Awesome. So I swapped this out to the 600 grit Trizac, which is A30, and I'll get to sharpening on these, and then this is where I'll sharpen the serrated knife and the scissors. All right, so yes, my first name is Vinny. So sharpening these were already touched up on the back of it, and that's what I did again. So all I did was remove the light. So at a very acute angle, all I did was touch up like the back edge, and I built a burr. And then I'm going to remove the burr with my wire wheel and magnet. So I have my on-off magnet. This sits here, and then I have my Dremel with my wire wheel, which I'll actually do right now for you guys. And this wire wheel will not scratch the burr at all, or I'm sorry, will not scratch the knife at all. And all I'm doing is moving this burr back and forth until it falls off. Perfect. And then this is all you have to do, and then I wipe it down. I wipe every knife down with a little 99% isopropyl alcohol. And I still tell all my customers, even though I wiped it down, please wash with soap and water. All right, let's see how this goes. Ah. chair. Okay, so I have a little bit more work, and that's why I test every knife to make sure it will be sharp. And then for the scissors, all I'm gonna do is match up the existing angle. So get this light down here. So this is where I could feel it. I'm just gonna match it up, and I'm just gonna come across just like that. And then I'll have a nice clean line across right here, and this will cut very nicely. I did buy a twice as sharp, so that'll be coming here next week actually, so please stick around and check that out. Aren't there special sharpening wheels? There are. So there are called diamond wheels, and you can attach those to grinders, to bench grinders, but you only use those if the serrations are pretty dull. These ones are pretty good actually. So all I'm doing is just raising a burr on the back edge and then hitting it with the wire wheel. So let me do that. But yeah, very good question. So there's two ways to, oh, another thing is there's these rods, we call them rat tails. See if I can find one. So you can also use these, and they're tapered. So there's three different coarses: coarse, fine, and extra fine. Let's pull this out for example. I first use these, and let me zoom in for you guys. How's that view? So this is a tapered rod. So you can do very tiny serrations up here, and then work your way up. But what I found out was this, even with the extra fine, it doesn't leave a very nice looking edge. It does an okay job, but it takes a long time to do one serrated knife. So I bought these at the beginning. These are DMT ceramic rods, and they work well for what it is. But to do each one, because I'd have to do for all three to create a burr and then fine tune it, it just takes too long for a knife sharpening business. And I don't think it leaves that nice of an edge. So I can hit it on the back edge and then use my wire wheel to remove it without scratching the knife. So there's definitely pros and cons to it all. So there are two ways to, so I created a burr so I feel it on both sides. So there's two ways to actually remove like the burr. One way is that I have this little stone right here. And all you want to do is just knock the burr off on the back edge, because you don't want the two burrs grinding against each other. That'd be horrible. So I feel it up here. Cool. And you just want to just lay it as flat as possible. So I could do it on both sides. Another way is that you push the two blades away from each other on the downward motion, and then you squeeze them apart. And you're squeezing them apart is because then the burr falls off, and then if you squeezed it in, if I went in without pulling the blades apart, you could be crushing the burr and actually damaging like the knife. So do that a few times. All right, let's see how this does. Cut from pivot to tip, and it doesn't even pinch, so these are all done. I was so afraid of using the belt sander doing this at first, and I would go to a very fine grit because I thought they needed to be polished. All they have to be is more of like a toothy edge, and you're good to go. All right, now for the last belt on this one, using a Trizac A16, which is about 1200 grit, and I'm gonna leave a nice little mirror polish on it. So I leave a toothy edge on the ceramic knife. I'm sorry, on the serrated knife, not the ceramic. I'm done with my wire wheel. And then with the scissors, I'm done with them, so I don't have to worry about that. Both are done around 600 grit. And then all I have to do is hit these other knives, and then we'll get to the leather stropping part. If you guys are enjoying this video, please leave a thumbs up, like and subscribe. It does help this small knife sharpening channel grow and my business. So thank you guys very much. Okay. Can you guys hear me with the respirator on and the machine off? Let me know, please, because that might be easier just talking out of. Is that grinder especially made for sharpening? Thanks for letting me know that you guys can still hear me with the mask. It sounds a little muffled, so this is a tulker. So there it is, and I got this from Amazon. It's about $300, and I have a few of them, and it goes in both directions. Towards me, which is edge leading, and then away from me, which is edge trailing. Edge leading, edge trailing. I don't know if I said edge leading. So with this machine, it gives me options. All this is just a sewing mower. That's all it is. And if you want, I can find out the specs for you. Maybe it'll tell me right here. Yeah, a lot of it in Chinese, so no idea. Sorry about that. Well, I don't know the actual, so the nice thing about it is I can control the speed, so I sharpen faster than what I strop, and it does go in both directions. So I didn't make this one, but a Harbor Freight could do the same thing essentially, but this gives me a little bit more versatility, geez, words, because this whole plan I can adjust up, down. I just prefer this angle. And then I can actually take this whole thing off, and then over here I can attach a wheel. So like that guy right there, it's the same machine, but I have a wheel for it. And then that attaches, well, I can attach my Scotch-Brite belts to it, and I do some fine polishing. I did just make a video, which I'm editing right now, of a serrated knife that was burnt, that was caught in a house fire, and I restored it. So cleaned off all the soot, burn marks, all the charring, and got it razor sharp. So I'll be making that video out, so check out my channel for when that drops, hopefully tomorrow. All right. Hopefully, buddy, that answered like your question. I mean, it's not just for knife sharpening though. You could use this for anything, but I mean, metal grinding, I use this to take off steel, but it has a built-in angle guide. It comes with a fatter guide for larger tools, but yeah, if you want to get into sharpening, a regular 1x30 by Harbor Freight is probably 50 to 80 bucks that you can get, so I think that'd be great for you. Steven Sharpens, yeah. Yeah, man. I think Steven Sharpens has a Kalamazoo 1x42, and so all it is still like a 1-inch wide belt, but 42 inches long. Those are great because the belts stay sharper longer because you have 42 inches of wear compared to I have 30, so I have to swap my belts out a little bit sooner. But I love how compact these are. I think the Kalamazoos go in one direction, but you can easily, if you're good at freehanding, you can easily swap it around. So it's whatever you're comfortable with. Yeah, again, you see 10 different sharpeners, you have 10 different ways of sharpening a knife. I first started with a Harbor Freight. Well, I first started with a manual system, you know, like the hand sharpener, then whetstones, ceramic, diamond stones, and then some of the pull-through sharpeners because I didn't know any better. And then I found this one, and I've been loving it. It is on the pricier end, so you can get the same thing for cheaper. You just have to do some modifications. All right, so I'm gonna sharpen these at 1400 RPM, and what we were saying, I did switch it, so the belt is going away from us, so I don't cut into like the leather belt itself. A huge benefit of what I like about edge leading is that it gives it a very, very small burr. So when I refine it with the 1200 grit, there's hardly any burr left. So if I did edge trailing, I'd have to spend a little bit more time, not too much more time, just doing the de-burring. But yeah, everyone has their preferences. It's safer to go edge trailing, but it's faster to sharpen edge leading. That is very nice. Yeah, I actually follow Steven Sharpens as well. I try, you know, his business model is fantastic. He's getting all the stuff in LA. I don't do as much mobile sharpening that he does. There we go. I'm more home-based. These are fantastic. Sweet. All right. Let's get to our wrapping station. Got my butcher paper here. I always like to protect the customer's knives and present it back like a little present. Oh, see? Ah. All right. had a little bit of a burr, but it was still cutting nicely. Yeah, I like it. So these customers drop their knives off in just a towel, which is how 90% of my customers do it. Sam, what's up, buddy? Sam is the OG YouTuber, in my opinion. I followed him before I started a YouTube channel. Sam has amazing things, so go check Sam out at Sam's Mobile Sharpening. And Honed by Jones, he is a buddy of mine as well. He lives in the Carson City area, so go check them out. They have great YouTube channels. Sam uses the Harbor Freight with edge trailing, and Warren has probably 10,000 different machines. He uses Tormax. He has a 1x42 Kalamazoo. He also, I don't think he has any 1x30s, but he does a lot of freehand as well, whetstones. So check both of them out. They have great YouTube channels. All right, sheaths. We just need a few sheaths. And the buck tool 130. Yep. See, Warren has his whole garage full of amazing tools, so he's able to do all these different knives. And the thing is, with knife sharpening, there's not one tool that does everything. So that's why you see a lot of people have different tools, or they just make do with what they have. Yeah, I followed Sam, Sam's Mobile Sharpening, a while ago, and I was able to contact him, and he's definitely helped me out with very obscure knife questions, because when you start doing this as a business, you don't just get knives. You have the most obscure tools ever, and you're like, I've never seen that before. So Sam is younger than me, but he has been doing this a lot longer, and his wealth of knowledge is incredible. So go check out his channel. And Warren is just an awesome guy as well. We all have ideas of how to sharpen, and then when we can't figure something out, we call each other up. So if you're ever into like the world of sharpening, it's always good to have friends that are sharpeners, because you can bounce ideas back to each other. So I think that's the most important thing there is, because even though you have all the amazing tools and everything, you spend a lot of money, it doesn't make you a good sharpener. A lot of it is just customer service. All right, my favorite part is wrapping presents. If any of you want Webland want to be my personal assistant for gift wrapping, please let me know. I'm taking applications. My wife found these online. I don't know exactly where. Once I find out, I'll let you guys know exactly which website. Warren, absolutely, buddy. You guys have been super helpful in my sharpening journey. So anything I can do to help promote you guys as well, I'm totally in for it. Almost takes longer packaging than actual sharpening. Okay, a couple business cards. All right, moment of truth. Can I tie this piece of twine with gloves on? Aha, perfect. All right, and thank you, perfect. Make sure I spell her name correctly. Cynthia, perfect. Not breaking HIPAA, you guys don't know who Cynthia is. Perfect. Set one of knives are done. All right. So now for these 3 Shuns, I'll sharpen them next, and then I'll get to the pruners after that. So first thing like you do is always inspect like the knives. And this has a broken tip on it. See that? Broken tip. And it's bent over. Broken end, bent over, so I'll fix that up for her. I do love working on Shuns, but every Shun I've worked on has some chip somewhere on it. And then, okay, let's see. Let's turn this off. Can you guys see that right there? You see that part? You see how the light is reflecting off it? That means it's a very dull edge, and then the edge has rolled over. So up here, it's a little bit easy, it's a little bit sharper, but you can totally see how the edge is rolled over, and that's without any light on it. So this gives you a pretty good idea of how much damage, where the damage is on a knife before you sharpen it. Yeah, this one back here. Now let me turn the light off again before you guys can see. And the light helps me out, but on the camera it doesn't show too well. Yeah, perfect. So the Henckles we sharpen at 17 degrees. We're gonna sharpen the Shuns at more of an acute angle. Let's swap out tape. I know, man. Biggest thing for sharpeners, I think, is being I think this comes from me being at the fire department, is being a patient advocate, you know, helping people help themselves. So after every sharpening, when I return like the knives to the customer, I tell them, well, I ask them like, so how do you maintain like the knives? How do you wash them? How do you treat them? And a lot of times they put them in the dishwasher, which is horrible for them. I made a whole YouTube video about how dishwashers actually make knives duller. The detergents are very abrasive. The high water pressure and the high temperature of the drying is just horrible. So plus people they could use these on, you know, thicker material, kind of like bones. So bones on Shuns. If you use Shun knives on bones, it's not good. The edges are so thin, so you need something thicker like an actual cleaver to mess with that. But they could be cutting on plates. Glass cutting boards are actually popular. Like my dad's girlfriend has a cutting board that's just glass. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. All right, so I'm gonna sharpen these down to 15. All right, let's try and get my OCD working right here. 15.1, that's totally fine. All right, drop to 15, perfect. I'm horrible at sharpening. I'll get better with practice, 40 years old. Yeah, it takes time. This is more of a commercial setup that I have here. I wouldn't expect the home sharpener to have, even, one machine. I have 4 of these for when I do mobile sharpening. I have a little bit of assembly line. If you do whetstones, diamond stones, any type of whetstone sharpening, it's going to take about 1 hour per knife, and you kind of just zen out, and it's nice doing it, and you have a great sense of accomplishment after hand sharpening, but it does take forever. What are you struggling with when you sharpen? Matching up the angle, creating a burr? Let me know. Okay, so I have these set at 15 on the angle. We know that all these knives are extremely dull, and this has a broken tip. So let's get the sharpening. Something also very important, I was feeling, okay, you can definitely overheat this knife a lot faster than these ones because I'm working more on the tip. So always have some water next to you. I didn't feel this generating too much heat, but I still kept my hand on it to make sure. And yeah, don't be afraid just to put it in a little bit of water and just cool it off, because the worst thing that you could do is destroy the temper of the knife while trying to reshape it. So you guys can see, I got the tip back on. This one was kind of a pain because you have to start matching all the other angles. So maybe having a split belt would be actually better on this guy. Angle matching up mostly. I've been really electric. Angle profiling is very tough. I mean, if you don't have the same angle, you're gonna not have a sharp knife. So that's the hardest thing. I did find this guy. So if you can find yourself kind of like a jig, if you're doing hand sharpening, where is it? It's this guy up here. You put the whetstone up here, and then the knife attaches to this magnet and guide rod, and you have this bubble level to tell you what angle that you're at. Awesome machine. And I have a Ken Onion as well. I'm gonna show you on the Ken Onion how I sharpen these pruners. So like I said, many different machines, not one machine does well. A split belt. So a split belt, you know, these are 1-inch belts. There's a 3D printer out there that prints a jig with multiple different cutting blades in it, kind of like the box cutter blades. And what you do is you put the belt in this, and then you stab through the belt with the belt splitter blade, and then you just pull it across until it cuts the whole belt. You could essentially, I'm not gonna do it, but you would just use your scissors and just cut a straight line all the way across. Then you have a much smaller belt. So I don't have one. If anyone wants to 3D print me a belt splitter, that would be amazing, and I can showcase it on my channel. The Ken Onion, is that the next sharpener on your list? All right.
Thank you, dude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, E, for the sub. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way of not running the knife tips all the way through. Yeah, that's a problem. And yeah, it sucks. And even when you don't pull like the knife through and you let the belt stop on the blade, it still doesn't give these fine point tips that I can do on this machine. Like, I don't think I've ever repaired a tip and got it super sharp like this and create an even bevel on it. So yeah, so I do appreciate you subbing, man. That's a huge help. So how are there so many people? I don't know, man. That's the power of YouTube. I have no idea. I do appreciate everyone watching and giving a thumbs up. Yeah, I'm a growing YouTube channel. I'm a full-time fireman, knife sharpening for about 2 years now, and just got on to YouTube. And if I could teach someone how to sharpen, because it took me a long time, and I still have some questions from time to time, but there's no playbook, there's no ABC, and that's how my brain works. So finding a process that I like sharpening took a long time, and I love this setup. So, and if I can help someone on their journey of knife sharpening, I'm all for it. So switching to an A16 tri-stack belt, which is about 1200 grit. I'm gonna leave a nice little mirror polish on this. And then we'll get to stropping. A16's down. I just bought this yellow felt belt. I'm gonna try it out on some other knives first. I'll test it on my own knives first before I use it on the customers. Supposedly it's helped to remove the burr even more before the leather stropping belt. So I don't know if it's, again, that's the thing about knife sharpening. Nothing's proven, it's just very objective. Or is it subjective? I'm not sure. It's one of the objectives where I say this works amazing, and then for someone else, like, oh, it's horrible. It's just it's another step. So it's hard to find if that's true or not with it. But I'm gonna test it on my own knives. It should remove burrs faster, but I do edge leading, so I'm torn if it's gonna be better or not. Again, always take the leather belt off because that will stretch over time. Just clean these off. I do love Shuns because once you get them sharp, they are amazingly sharp. All right, back to the butcher station. Don't forget, I have two more pruners. I have two pruners I have to sharpen, so just stick around and check those out. Cool. Yeah, honestly, you shouldn't really care what the angle is, because the best way to do it is just edge matching. So honestly, I don't care if the angle is 10, 15, or 20. If I can match up the angle and remove less of the bevel, less material, it's faster and it looks cleaner too. Because once you change the angle, you just remove a lot more steel, and you could have a chance of raising like the bevel, and it makes it look worse. Yeah. So honestly, I don't care what the angle is myself, but I think that's awesome. How long does it take you to get it razor sharp like that? Woohoo! I do love me some Shuns. Oh boy. And for the little paring knife. Oh, she's gonna love these. That's always the like the mystery. Did I do a good job for YouTube? And if I don't slice the paper correctly, I'll just go back and resharpen it. But I always test every knife to make sure I'm giving out a good product. But there's been a few times where I'm like, oh, that didn't cut. And little embarrassing to put your credentials out there on YouTube and you don't have a sharp knife. So you have to resharpen it. 10 minutes. That is awesome, dude. That is really fast. And I would assume that you're not going to just damage like the knife too much, so you're still going to have a nice edge like when you first start too. So that helps out a lot. Yeah, buddy. Cool. All right, we got these knives all done. So let's go to these bad boys. Come on, come here. All right. This goes with Cynthia. All right. Here are two very rusted knives, and she needs these back pretty quick. So I'm not gonna let these sit in a vapor rust like how I normally do, but I'm gonna give her a little of a bath. So let me get my, this mat is amazing, by the way, for your feet. It's so cushiony. All right, pull out my little tray, get some more paper towels. Let me just use these actually. I'll replace it afterwards. Come back here. All right. So, have my little catch basin of material. So first I'm going to remove like the rust. I have my, it's my second knife, so I don't really care. I just want to sharpen. It wasn't expensive. Yeah, there's a trade-off, man. Sharp knives have better steel most of the time, but if you can have a cheap knife with great steel, that's definitely a win. So good job. Yeah, I had a guy drop off three EDCs, 2 Spydercos, and one Benchmade, and that was like $700 between those 3 knives. So, you know, if you can get it a much cheaper knife with great steel, more power to you, man. So, all this rust, I'm going to, so I would usually disassemble this whole thing, let it sit in Evaporust for a couple hours, and it's so easy to remove. $40 Euro. Yeah, sweet. So we're not gonna do that today. I have my wire wheel with my Dremel tool, and we'll see how this works, taking all of this gunk off. And yeah, let's get to it. This one, again, how I always wear respirator, wear this. These shavings will start flying everywhere, so just protect yourself. It kind of does like my magnet. That already looks so much better. Hopefully you guys can see this here. How's that look? Is that just been washed out? Let me see with the light. Let there be light. I can't tell if that's helping or worse. Can you guys let me know if the light is helping or making it worse? It looks bad on my end through the camera. So let's just go with the light off. Come back over here. All right. Thanks, Sam, for letting me know. I think I can't really tell a difference. So I did buy some 3M radial disc, which should be a lot better. There's different grits than just this wire wheel. So I'll make a little video about that when that gets here as well. Okay. This looks a little bit better. You can actually read Kirkland now. So, yeah, these aren't too bad, but I'm going to clean up like that whole bevel right there. So, yeah. But these are like the types of things I like to do. Customer was not expecting this. We didn't talk about it. So I like to under promise and over deliver. So we'll see how my wire wheel does against this guy. But once I get those 3M radial discs, that's going to be a game changer for sure. Yeah, what I'm excited about the Scotch-Brite wheels is that I can have different grits and different scratch patterns. So this is only one grit. So it does a great job for removing the burr on the serrations, doesn't leave any marks. But again, it's not the best job, but it's better than what it was. And I'm not charging her extra for that. So, cool. All right, get this out of here. Thank you for the comment about the PPE. Yeah, always have your respirator on. These little flying wheels can get everywhere, so be very careful with that. So a split belt would be amazing for this. I could even sharpen this on the twice as sharp when I get it. I don't have it yet, but there's a few different ways to sharpen it. I do like my canned onion because the belt is a little bit smaller, so it's easier to go around and maneuver this through. So when I first got sharpening, I'm like, oh, I got this. This is great. And now I'm finding, I thought once I got the a tool crew machine, I thought I was gonna throw it out or sell it, and it's finding its own purpose. So when you upgrade your machines, keep the older ones because they could serve a purpose for something else than just knife sharpening. So, okay, so the belt is going this way. So what I'm going to do is just match it up. So I'm closing the pruners here, but I'm not cutting it like the belt. I'm closing it so I can keep the same angle, if that makes sense. So you just want the same idea of where it's gonna be. I know that's too steep, that's too flat. Yeah. All right, let's give it a go. Words are tough today. Oh, you could also use this guy too. This is a great tool as well. This guy right here. So if you were to use this. And I do use this on other other pruners that I can't get in between the belt because it's too small. So I just match up like the angle and then start just grinding away. It's a little bit of a longer process. But yeah, you guys can already see I'm taking off a little bit of steel, trying to create a burr on the back. So you don't need an actual electric machine to sharpen. All right, eyes and ears are going on.
Your pro.
And I stop until I fill a burr. This is 120 grit, and you don't need these super polished because they're cutting through branches and twigs, stuff like that. So again, there's two ways to deburr these. One, these are self deburring. This is called the anvil side, and all you do is just make sure that they come across. Try to spread it like how you do with scissors and pull it apart, or you go on the flat edge and just knock the burr off. This tool is amazing. Been loving it. Come on. Okay, it's chopping, so just need to spend a little bit more time on that. Oh yeah, that guy cut real perfect. I love it. So that's why I test every tool. You guys get to join the ride with me again. Now, actually, let's just try this guy. Sorry. Yeah, it would be easier if I took it apart, but then she wants these back pretty quick. And then I like to, if I take it apart, I want to rest it or leave it in Evaporos to make sure everything is cleaned off. But she wants these back today, and that's a couple hour project, so. You can almost hear it. Oops. Oh yeah, much better. Get a little bit more. So does that make sense, like why I'm not taking it apart like right now? Usually I would. All right, let's hit it with the machine one more time. There we go. looks a lot better. Definitely feel burr more on that one. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. See, that's why you test everything. That's it. Money. Cool. So hopefully you guys are liking this little bit of a video. I'm not perfect. I can't sharpen everything perfect the first time, so that's why I test and I go back over it. So this is just real world. There's no camera work of like, oh, you know, I got perfect the first time. Everyone, even when they experienced sharpeners, have to go back sometimes and resharpen something. So there's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is if you leave the client with a dull knife or a tool. So if you guys are enjoying this video, please leave a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. That does help me, you know, as a small, about that. Yeah, you guys leave a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. That does help me as a growing YouTuber and helps promote more of my knife sharpening business. There we go. Put this back. Sweet. Let's spray these off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Well, I'm about to sign off here in a little bit. Do you guys have any questions for me so far before I head out? Yeah, but I appreciate you always coming, man, and sticking around. And I appreciate the great questions, man. That doesn't really fit now, does it? That would be why. I have to go to the big boy just to get that in. There. Too much excess over there. Sweet. Well, thank you guys for watching me sharpen a few knives. Hope you guys had fun, or this was at least a little bit of educational for you. Oh, sweet, dude. Gabo, I totally appreciate it, man. You were learning at a faster rate than I was when I first started sharpening, so. Because even though I saw people sharpening, you know, I couldn't, there was no live streams really to talk to them of how to sharpen, so. Can't need these anymore. I'm excited to get that twice as sharp coming in. Then I'll start doing a lot more shears. This lady called me from South Lake Tahoe, and she wants her pinking and regular shears sharpened, so I can't wait to make a little video about that. So that'll be a learning opportunity for both of us. Come on now. But seriously, if you guys, if someone wants to get hired by me to just package all these knives, I will pay you salary, pension, whatever you want. This is probably like my least favorite part. This was Julie. Sweet. All right, guys. If there's no more questions, I'm gonna sign off. But I'll stick around for a minute. Just hanging around, clean the shop a little bit. Might have a little bit of lunch after this. If you guys haven't, I do have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and obviously YouTube. So if you enjoy this, please check out the other channels as well. Oh my God. Okay, I apologize for throwing you guys around. Shop is cleaned up now. I'm gonna call these two customers to pick up their knives, grab a little lunch. This is Vinny from the Knife Sharpening Service, the Knife Guy in Reno. Have a great day, guys.